I play all the frisbee all the time. Really like doing that.
Pretty much
Keeps me occupied.
Involved in the radio station on campus, and then occasionally also attend the alternative film club.
We also have a special
choir
interview with
and
chef
Rider
at
Ice Hockey
Delphi
Club.
Epsilon
Part of the
and
tutoring.
Welcome to What Are You Doing, a show that focuses on campus activities just for you. My name is Chantel Utley, and today's topics are intramurals, Greek life, residence life, and WRRC Writers Radio Station. We also have a special interview with the new chef at Delta Phi Epsilon and a coordinator of campus activities, Nick Barbetti. Let's see what students are involved in the writer community.
Basically in most of the music programs like chapel choir and also part of the tutoring for piano program. I'm a voice major though, but I also have associates in piano.
I play ultimate frisbee all the time. Really like doing that. Keeps me occupied, and it's a lot of fun to play on campus.
Involved in the radio station on campus, and then occasionally I also attend the alternative film club.
I'm on the dodgeball team, and we pretty much just tear stuff up in dodgeball.
The photo editor for Rider News. I play soccer, yes, and a lot of intramural sports.
I'm involved in SCC, Emerging Leaders, and flag football.
I'm the announcer for the Rider Ice Hockey Club.
I'm involved in the intramural soccer, and I also just I commute here.
Speaking of intramurals, reporter Ryan Veneza took a closer look at student-run athletics.
The SRC just celebrated its 3rd anniversary, all the while housing the indoor intramural sports offered by Rider. Those sports include wiffle ball, dodgeball, basketball, and mat ball. Mat ball, a kickball-like game, and basketball are two of the most popular sports offered by Rider intramurals. The official rules state that a team consists of 5 players, but there is no limit to how many bench players a team may carry. The games consist of 2 20-minute halves. During the first 19 minutes of each half, the clock will only stop for team or official timeouts. The clock will stop during the last minute of each half according to NFHS basketball rules. A mercy rule is used to end any game where a team is ahead by 50 points at any point in the game, or up by 40 points with 10 minutes remaining. I asked an intramural basketball player why they enjoy playing.
Intramural basketball is a good time. Get a lot of exercise in, have some fun with your friends at night, kill some hour and a half out of your night, give you something to do. It's a real good time.
Mat ball is another of the most popular games offered by Rider intramurals. It is a game similar to kickball. The games are played on the SRC courts 2 and 3. I asked mat ball player Corey Douglas why she likes to play.
I have to hang out with my friends. I work at intramurals, so it's basically another day of...
There are 4 large mats or bases that are placed in the corners of the field. The basketball sidelines act as the foul lines. Defensive players must stay in the lines at all times. There are innings similar to baseball with 3 outs and the home team beginning in the field. There are no force outs, so there's the potential for multiple base runners to be on a single base. In order to score, the runner must round the bases twice. The games will last 7 innings or 45 minutes. Let's watch how the game progresses. Sometimes the games get a little out of control, but all in all, Rider intramurals is a good time.
If you are interested in playing for an intramural sport, follow these easy steps to form your own team.
If you're interested in sports but don't have the time to commit to varsity athletics, take a shot at intramural student-run sports. Starting your own intramural team at Rider is easy. First, head to the Student Recreation Center. On the second floor, you'll find the intramural office. Ask one of the workers there for the intramural form. This form is the key to starting your own team. After you have the form, the next step is to get some of your friends to join your team. They have to sign the form to be on your team. To successfully create your team, you must fill out the intramural form completely. Make sure all of your teammates have filled out their first and last name, year, email address, and phone number, as well as whether they are a varsity athlete and their t-shirt size. The rest of the form is up to you, as the captain, to fill out. Don't forget to indicate what sport your team will be playing, as well as the times you are available to play. To review, go to the SRC, acquire a form, and grab your friends. With a little practice and commitment, you and your team will be on the court, field, or rink competing against other students.
I can't take me when it's studying.
I know, I'm so thirsty.
You thirsty? Me too.
I know. You know what I could go for right now? What? Ice cold Pepsi. Oh my gosh.
Definitely Sprite.
Sprite breaks out your face. Why do you want to drink Sprite?
Sprite does not break out your face. Pepsi is a dark soda. Pepsi gives you pimples, and Sprite just quenches your thirst. Sodas are $1.25.
Since you have more change than I do, I guess we can get a Sprite.
What the hell happened last night? Ugh. Oh, shit. Oh, what the?
What? I'm gonna call this.
Maybe she'll be into it.
Welcome back to What Are You Doing? Taking a look at residence life, reporter Nadine Tester was able to find out more about the inside job of residence advisors.
Living on campus opens many new doors to students who want to get involved in campus activities. Resident advisors, or RAs, help keep order in the residence halls, but also help facilitate special activities for their dorm or floor. Life of an RA isn't easy. On top of classes and homework, they also need to decorate bulletin boards, mediate roommate troubles, run floor meetings, and plan activities for their residents. RAs also take time to tell their residents about important information like school closing.
You should know about. But first thing is first, Thanksgiving closing is coming up. Yay! So just a couple things. Probably tomorrow or Friday, you guys are gonna see these on your doors.
RAs also need to plan activities for their residents.
Programming. We have been having a bunch of programs. I don't know if you guys really know, but we try to advertise under doors, and we really like you guys to come out. If a program looked like this, we would be so happy. So basically that's, please come out. RHA is on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m., which is normally now, but we asked them if we could invade upon their space and do this, being that everyone gets out of night class at 9:45.
Jess Pordell, the RA in Ridge House, knows what kinds of activities attract the most students.
What kind of activities do students tend to come to the most?
Provocative ones. I think the most students I ever had come to a program was the one that was entitled Let's Talk About Sex, where we had Vox come in and they did a condom hunt and everyone got free condoms.
RAs generally use the resident hall lounges for activities. They can host anything from mocktail parties to board game nights. The activities help students relax, have fun, and meet new people.
It's Jay-Z's song, and it's the title of his album. When you stand up and do this for someone who doesn't do it.
These students from Wright Hall are playing Taboo at an RA-hosted game night.
He's saying it wrong. Hanging. I killed myself. Suicide. Murder. Homicide.
perks of being an RA are having a room to yourself and getting paid every 2 weeks, but the most important part of being an RA is helping students.
The most rewarding part of my job is definitely being able to help students and my residents and meeting so many new faces and friends.
For more information about becoming an RA, go to your resident hall's RA meetings.
Hey. So what's up?
Can I really talk to you without you telling anyone?
Yeah.
So the other night, I went to a party and I got really, really drunk. And when I woke up the next morning, there was guys next to me.
Call them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorority House Delta Phi Epsilon has a new chef in town. Here in this house is where all the good food is made. What made you become a cook?
Well, I used to be a lab technician for a chemical company, and it was shift work, and I hated it. And I didn't want to wake up every morning and hate going to work, so I wanted to do something I liked. So it was actually either a cameraman for TV or a chef. And my neighbor was in the business of television. He said, you'd probably be better off going into becoming a chef, because it's very hard to get into to become an actual cameraman for TV right off the bat. So I went to New York Restaurant School, and I did a whole year of just schooling, went full time, and my externship I did at the Food Network. So I got kind of best of both worlds.
Okay.
So.
Why did you decide to work at Ryder?
Well, down the road, after I put my career on hiatus, so to speak, when I had kids, I got married, bought a home, and I just had my baby daughter 6 months ago, or my wife did, and she's a school teacher in Princeton, and my career could jump here and there. So hers, she's solid. She, it's a very good career. She's stable. So I was looking in the ad in the paper, and I found it said fun job. So I'm like, hey, I'm a fun kind of guy. Let me see what this is about. And they gave me a call back, and I had no idea it was Ryder. And then they interviewed me, and I'm like, this is perfect. I'm only a few blocks away. And it's pretty flexible, which gives me the opportunity to pick up and bring my son to daycare. And I pick him up on Fridays. He comes here, and the girls love him. He's such a ham, just like Dad, my wife tells me. So that's why.
What's your favorite meal to make for the girls?
Anything with cheese. The girls love cheese. It should be the Delta Phi cheese fraternity. No, they love their cheese here. And what I like to cook, it doesn't matter. When I hear all the girls get excited about the smells, and because you eat with your nose first, and then your eyes, and then actually your mouth. But when they come in and they get all kinds of giddy and happy and stuff about what I made, that's what makes me good. That's why I got into the field. I like making people happy, and if I could do it through food, that makes me happy. So.
How long do you think you will continue to work at Ryder?
Well, as long as they keep me. So there's 2 semesters, going on a 2nd semester. I didn't hear anybody saying the F word, fired that is. So. I guess I'll come back in January, and then we'll take it from there, the year and year, So I hope they like me.
In other Greek news, Delta Sigma Theta is very active on campus. About 6,000 students attend Rider University, and out of those students, 8.8% of those students are minority. Since there is such a small percentage of those minority groups, we only see a few minority fraternity and sororities on campus. Several students give their feedback.
I think that it's very limited, or very, I guess it's a small number, you would say, but it's kind of good at the same time because we all are able to mingle together and see one another. But I think that we could definitely have more organizations or more minority organizations. They all work for me. I go to the mainstream organizations too. I like them too. It's not like I'm just biased.
So you support everyone?
I support everybody.
Thing with that is because it is a smaller school, the minority population isn't as heavy as it would be if we went to an HBCU. So because of that, I guess finding people of quality is hard for every respective organization on campus. Like, nobody wants to just take anybody and put them in no organization. You might not have somebody that does the work that needs to be done. So, I mean, that's my take on that. I obviously wouldn't put somebody who does nothing on campus in my organization.
The Intercultural Greek Council is where all the minority students can get together in their Greek life and be together as one. There are many things to do on campus, especially if you are a part of Greek life. And one of the things that these Greek organizations do is hold programs for campus students. Andy Gellin from Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated allows us to know what he does in his fraternity.
Well, we have different programs ranging from helping out with the youth in Trenton to throwing a pageant, which we have here annually at Rider University, which is called the Crimson and Cream Pageant, which we co-host with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, who collaborates work and programs with Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, allows us to know what types of programs they also do.
We've done the Financial Fortitude program, which falls under our 5-point programmatic thrust. We've also hosted the Great Debaters program for the 2008 election. What else have we done? We've done the HIV/AIDS walk.
Not only is there just black sororities and fraternities on campus, but there are also Latino fraternities and sororities.
I'm a brother of Lambda Theta Phi Line Fraternity Incorporated. It was founded December 1st, 1975 at Kane College for the advancement of Latinos on the campus.
Okay. So currently, how many members do you have on campus?
One. I am the only member of my chapter currently.
So what kind of organization?
Although there are limited minority organizations on campus, programs and unity are still shown to students on Rider's campus.
Make recycling part of your daily routine. Visit earth911.org for more information.
Guys, I'm bored. What do you guys want to do?
Go to the mall. Nah, there's nothing good at the mall. Wait, I got it.
Let's go to the Rider Bookstore!
Yay!
Come to the Rider Bookstore and get the hottest clothes, like Rider sweatshirt and Rider t-shirt. Get it all at the Rider Bookstore.
I wish the bookstore never closed. I wish I lived at the bookstore.
Early in the week, I was able to speak with the coordinator of campus activities, which is Nick Barbetti. Hi, I'm Chantel Ellie, and I'm coming to you from What Are You Doing? And today we have Nick Barbetti, who is the coordinator of campus activities. So, hi, how are you today? Thank you for coming to see us.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Hi, we just have a few questions for you. We know that you graduated from Rider, and we just wanted to know what made you decide to come back and work here.
Well, I graduated in May of 2007, and I had, for the previous couple summers, had worked for the summer conference program at the university, which takes place from a week following commencement all the way through August months. So I was here helping out that program, working as a temporary employee of the university for the following months after graduation. And when I was a student here, one of the departments I worked primarily with was campus life, thus where campus activities is housed. And in the search for housing directors, I apologize, to go in the Greek houses,
Right.
there was an opening that was still left to be filled. There was a vacancy that was filled by Diana Claus, who was the assistant director of recreation programs.
Mhm.
She was the house director for Alpha Zeta Delta, and they found a spot for me to just help with campus activity stuff.
Mhm.
That 1-year appointment grew into a full-on position that was created during the reshuffling of the Student Affairs Division this previous year, and I'm still here.
That's good to hear. Well, what does your job on campus actually entail?
Well, I'm the major planner of some of the campus traditional events like Cranberry Fest, Family Weekend, University Day, Winter Weekend. But I also, in between those times, I'm the advisor for the Student Entertainment Council. I also serve as the advisor to the Association of Commuting Students because I oversee the off-campus living program.
Right.
Therefore, I represent the university and a lot of the town relation committees and how I work with the students who move off campus on how to be good neighbors and and such. And I also am the head supervisor of the pub, and I am the advisor for the Gay Straight Alliance.
Well, that really sounds like a lot of work to do,
Yes.
but it does sound
Keeps
like
me
an
busy.
exciting job. And what else do you think what's most rewarding about your job that you would have to say?
I have found the greatest reward with my work, of course, with the students. That's always
Right.
my favorite part. I think I like to experience a lot of the successes that my students achieve, like when they win awards or when they have a really good event. But I actually really like it when they don't do as well as expected, and they learn from their mistakes and learn from lessons that I've worked with them to gain. And just overall seeing the evolution of the students over the past couple of years has been really interesting for me. And it's exciting to think that in a couple months these students are going to graduate and enter the
Right.
world and what they want to do, and that I was a bit part of that. So.
That sounds great. And what is the most hardest about your job, do you think?
The hardest thing, I guess, would have to be, you want everything to always go well, and you want to root so badly for the events that you plan to go well, as well as the groups you work with to just always make the smoothest decisions. But the hardest thing is that when you work with student groups is you can never anticipate what's coming next, or
Right.
or what drama might unfold, or what kind of when you're planning events, what vendor doesn't get there on time. So those things, it's just that it's the day-to-day uncertainty of certain components of it that kind of keeps me on my toes.
Most to students, and also is it comedians, concerts, or speakers, or what is most entailing about it?
Well, the largest crowds come out for concerts or comedians, but I like the more interactive programs because I like the idea of, there's the events that you would never think the students would be interested in, but they really like. Like I think of Bronx Bingo. I think of when we had a craft night where you could decorate things to put in your residence hall room, where the students are actually interacting with each other, doing something and creating something themselves and taking away something rather than just sitting down and being entertained. I think that's great, and I think, of course, there's a huge place for that in campus activities. But I like the interaction, like you and I are talking. You and I don't know each other.
Yes.
That kind of openings and connections that can be created through that.
Okay. And how much planning and time does it actually take to bring a show? And also, is it a comedian or a musical artist that's on campus? Things like that. How long does it actually take?
Well, everything has its own time frame. Some things take months, like the spring concerts, or even we had just recently had Hal Sparks, and that was kind of a rapid movement in terms of getting him. But even he was 6 weeks in advance. We had to make time to get the contract, go through the contract, make sure it's up to our standards, make sure it's still up to his standards, put a bid in, all this kind of stuff, and then make sure the room's available and our schedule is conducive to his schedule, and then just the process of getting publicity made and making sure the students know about it. It's a pretty extensive process. So some of the things are you can plan a say Bronx Buffet in a couple weeks, and then for a concert, you need 3 months.
And how do you decide what types of activities are going to be on campus? Is there any student input, or is there is it chosen by recent graduates like yourself? How does that go along?
It's almost uniformly by current students who help. There's some things like when we do the concerts, the large concerts with SEC, we do a campus-wide email poll. A survey, I guess you could say. But other things, when it comes to the activities of Cranberry Fest, there was always student representation from the student government and its sub-governments, a lot of the students that we work with. But we try to get as many segments from the population as possible, get as many opinions, and just a diversity of opinions that to come. And but we always have student input.
Sounds pretty fair. And do you also help other student organizations plan their activities?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of times with the student organizations that I don't necessarily work with that I find myself helping out with is they really just want the most help of just having your presence at the event and just showing up and showing support and just appreciating their hard work. I mean, there's a lot of times when I can help students blow up balloons, or I can help order things on and make sure everything gets there and be kind of like a storage house for a lot of their deliveries. But I think most students, when they can handle all that themselves, what they really want is some administrative support, and I've always been happy to supply that.
Well, I would be happy if that was them. As a recent graduate, you have a unique view, and that many administrators don't. And I would like to know, how does that play into how you may do your job?
Well, it's sometimes difficult because while I have a very broad understanding of what some of the events that we work with, what the history of them are, I also have to learn to step back and say that it's not so much about what I know of it and what I knew as a student. It's being open to new ideas, new opinions, new perspectives when it comes to like a Cranberry Fest, and not always just wanting to have it look the exact same way or feel as successful as previous events, and just be open to taking risks and stepping outside the box of tradition into finding new traditions and new memories. So that can get difficult because I'm so emotionally invested in Rider, and I always have been. And then to kind of navigate around other opinions of people who didn't go here for their undergrad, or didn't go here for their grad work, and don't really understand the traditions. But it's also about educating them as to why traditions are what they are, and how we can hold on to them but still move forward with them.
How do you find out what students like or dislike? I know that there's is there any type of surveys after your events that help you out, or?
Well, when they dislike something, it's fairly easy to find out. Hear about that quite often. But when they like something, that's the thing that takes a little bit more of pulling information out of students, and that is when the surveys, or even just open conversation with some of the student groups, we use them as focus groups like Senate or the SEC General Board. Those are kind of, when we were looking at different acts to bring for SEC, we would just pull up YouTube and play different clips of different performers. And that's actually how we ended up with a hypnotist that we're going to be having in December. So
sounds great.
Yeah, sounds interesting. I don't know about great, but I'm sure it'll go quite well.
Okay. Do you help at all with Westminster's activities?
Yes. I mean, we've been really making a conscious effort to get the traditional events, maybe not exactly on that campus as it is on this campus, but to bring Cranberry Fest to them, to bring a education of their campus's history to our University Day. They have a coordinator of their campus activities over there, and I work very closely with her to do some of a lot of this, like when we have Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, we had some events on their campus, some events on this campus, and but all tied under the same umbrella. And we're going to be working on more of that collaboration in the future.
Okay, well, we hope to see that. If not, okay, well, we already said that. If not, who plans theirs?
Yeah.
But is there a budget for campus activities?
Yes, there is.
If so, maybe please know how much.
I actually don't know the number off the top of my head.
Okay.
And that's not fast talk. I just don't know. It's not insignificant. There's a commitment definitely from the university that they set aside a very healthy amount of money for the implementation of campus activities and the major events, because of course this is a lot of the stuff that people remember when they graduate, and it's an important component. So that's one thing that the university does really, really well, is make sure that the traditional events have quite a healthy backing to them.
Okay, so you would say that budgeting is a big part of your job, or would you say that would be the least part of while you're coordinating?
Well, while it's not time consuming, everything has to stay within the budget, because as much as you want to spend everything on all these items, what I like to say is when I actually left this out earlier, is I work with teaching one of the emerging leaders sections. It's not really teaching, but facilitating. And what we tell them is, this is my philosophy, was it's like when musicians are making a CD.
Right.
Okay? They make 20 songs, and some songs are really, really good and they stand out, but they don't fit with the flow of the album. So you have to leave that idea off to the side. And that's the same thing with planning events, is you want to do everything. You want to throw everything in a bucket and just use it all.
Right.
But sometimes it doesn't work, and everything idea you want to do, you can't do, whether it's for budgetary reasons or just it doesn't fit in the overall smoothness of the event. So it is working within a budget. It's working within the constraints of what your team's able to do and what your resources are.
All right. Well, we would like to thank you very much for your time.
Oh, no
we
problem.
really do appreciate you coming to join us. And once again, I'm Chantel Utley from What Are You Doing?
Tired of your local business not reaching the audience you want? Get the most out of your money by advertising with the Rider News. You won't be disappointed with the quality you receive. Ads are available both in print and online. Call today.
Please throw away your cigarette butts. That way this chicken doesn't have to.
And finally, we have reporter Nick with WRC Rider Radio.
WRC is one of the hidden gems that many people at Rider don't know about, and I'm here to give you guys the inside scoop on Rider's radio station. It is located on the first floor of the Bart Lukey Center, across from the Riders University bookstore. Its effective radiated power is 20 watts and extends through Lawrenceville, Princeton, and most of Trenton. I got a chance to speak with 2 disc jockeys at WRC and asked them what they thought about Riders radio station.
If you're into music and stuff, it's kind of like a good way to get your feet wet and like into this sort of radio business. I'm a finance major, but I've always been into like kind of the radio stuff. I'm really into music, so I thought that it'd be cool to do it, and anybody can do it. It's really easy, so they train you really quick. It's fun.
It's a lot of fun to get in there and have a good time. A lot of friends come visit. Our friends listen, they enjoy it, so it's a good time. So if you like listening to the radio, being on the radio, definitely.
When you first do it, we were so nervous. And if you were trying to get into that communication sort of career, I think that like once you get over those initial nerves, that's one of the biggest steps. And doing this has definitely gotten me and Bob over this. So, I mean, I'm not nervous at all when we're on the radio anymore.
Especially if you're gonna be in like radio or television, because it is very nerve-wracking. The first show we did, we were pretty nervous, stumbling, bumbling, couldn't really get things right. But yeah, after like the first show, second show, we were. It was just smooth sailing from then, and we just have a good time, basically, we're on now. So, yeah, definitely.
The radio station's first broadcast was March 8th, 1960, compiled by Walter A. Brower, class of 1948. The radio station broadcasts on a frequency of 107.7, offering public affairs programming, along with entertainment shows that take advantage of extensive music library. The station helps students to polish both on-air and management skills. I also got a chance to meet with WRC's program director, Tom Lawyer, and that's what he had to say about the station.
It has its ups and its downs. It's like, working with any club. There's always hurdles to, jump over, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it. I think we're probably one of the easiest clubs on campus to get involved with, because we've had people walk in the door and go, I want to do a show. Okay, when do you want to do a show? They pick out a time slot, we train them, they sign the contract, and they're on the air. It's that simple. It's so easy that even a dumb comm major like myself could do it. It's not for everyone, and not everyone can be Don Imus or Howard Stern or Rick Dees. I'm dating myself here. But if you have a love of music, or if you have something to say, if you're into politics, or if let's say you're into classical music and you want to bring that to the community, this is a good venue and a good way to do it. But if you just want to be on the air for being the sake of on the air, that's probably not a good reason to do it.
So if WRC sounds like it's for you, don't forget to tune in to 107.7.
Once again, this is Chantel Utley, and don't forget to ask yourself, what are you doing?